Hello, welcome to episode 416. We're going to be using items to increase the score. So we're not going to have an intro, we're going to go straight into it, because basically we're going to have an item in our inventory, we right click on it, and it increases the score. That's basically it. Now I'm just going to use a carrot on a stick, but you could probably also use an edible item. I'll put a link in the description to an episode about eating any item. If it doesn't make any sense, and you want a version, hey, how can I do this with any item? Let me know. Maybe we can make a tutorial on that. But I'm going to need some scoreboard objectives. And this is not where you type them. This is where I type setup. I type them in here. Here we go. Scoreboard. Objectives. And I'm going to have points. So that's going to be the amount of points I've currently got. Chain always active. We'll have scoreboard, objectives, add, and we'll call this one points to give. That's how many points I'm going to get from the item. And then because I'm going to use a carrot on a stick, I'm going to have the old used carrot on a stick, which will be of type used carrot on a stick. There we go. Okay. So we've got 3 objectives. Right, better give ourselves that carrot on a stick. We'll call this one give. And let's set a points value. So I'm just going to say give 100. Right, so I'm going to give myself a carrot on a stick. Let's give it some information. But we're in 1.21, so we don't use the curly brackets. Old habits die hard. We need the square brackets. There we go. I'm going to give it a bit of custom data. Equals. And I'm going to give it 2 bits. I'm going to say point give. And I'm going to use that to say, is this carrot on a stick a special one that gives points? And how many points does it give? Points 100. Okay. Done. Let's give myself one of them. Lovely. Now let's make a controller. In fact, let's do scoreboard, objectives, set display on the sidebar. Oh, we've got some leftover objectives from another tutorial, but we want points, so let's put points on the sidebar. And let's make our controller. Right. Controller. Repeat. Always active. So I want to check if the player has used the carrot on a stick. Execute as any player whose scores, that's not how you spell scores, scores equals use their carrot on a stick equals 1 or higher. If they have used it, then if items entity that player weapon main hand is a carrot on a stick and it has some Minecraft custom data which is not equal, we'll say which contains point give, which it does because we gave it that. Then what we'll do is we'll store result as a score onto the player into their points to give. What we're going to store there, we will run data get from an entity the player. We'll get their selected item, we'll get the components from that selected item, and we'll get the Minecraft colon and his custom data, and we called it points, didn't we? Yes, custom data.points. Okay, let's have a little look at that again. So I use the carrot on a stick. If I'm holding a carrot on a stick that has the point give custom data, then I will store into my points to give score the score from the points on the carrot on a stick. Okay, done. Let's turn that on. In fact, let's change what we're displaying. Let's display points to give instead. So if I right click on this carrot on a stick, I've got 100. Okay, that's good. let's do a quick little change here. Let's change it to what 10 would be easy. There we go. Let's get one of them. If I right click on this one, 10, 100, 10, 100. Now the reason why it's changing automatically without me having to click is because we haven't reset our used carrot on a stick score. So let's reset that. Scoreboard, player, oh dear, I've gone all capital for some reason. Players, and then we'll have reset any player whose scores equals used carrot on a stick equals 1 or higher, reset their used carrot on a stick. Done. Okay, so it says 10, still says 10. Right, so if I right click on this one, it'll switch to 100. If I right click on this one, it'll switch to 10. So it's pulling out the score that we've put on that. That's a good start. Let's do a little bit of tidying up. So this is our 10 one. 10 in front, then 100. That'll do. Okay, let's turn that off. And I think we want to move this. So let's control middle mouse and copy that. Just put it over there for now. That's our reset. And let's change the command in here. So what I want to do is I want to get that score and add it to my current score. So I'm going to do scoreboard players. I'm going to do an operation for all players whose scores equals used their carrot on a stick equals 1 or higher, and we'll say their points score plus equals, so their point score equals their point score plus all players scores equals used carrot on a stick. Hey, that's not how you spell it. Carrot on a stick equals 1 or higher equals their points to give score. So their points equals their points plus their points to give. They're done. Let's get this command block, boink, and pop it back on the end. Let's see what happens if we turn this on. So let's click on the 10 one. Well, let's change what we're looking at. Let's look at our points. 10, 20, 30, 40, okay. 140, 240, cool, there we go, done already. So if you just want it to go on for infinite, that's pretty much all you need, I think. We should reset the points to give score as well, just to be clear or thorough. Let's keep you there. Let's change you. So let's go home and let's remove the item because maybe you only want them to use the item once. Let's do that as well. Item, replace, entity, any player whose scores equals whose used carrot on a stick equals 1 or higher. Then we will replace weapon.mainHand with air. So that will get rid of the carrot on a stick. And then we will reset the points to give. Scoreboard, players, reset any player whose scores equals points to give equals 1 or higher. Reset their points to give. Done. And then we'll get this block here. Let's clear that. We're not clearing them, we're putting them in our inventory. Let's get that one. Put that on the end. So we're clearing the used carrot on stick score. Okay. Let's see what happens. So I've currently got 340. If I use the 10 one, I expect it to go to 350 and it should disappear. Looks good. And we've got the 100 one. We should get 450 and it'll disappear. Nice. And then we can put any score in here we like. Preferably one that doesn't contain letters because that wouldn't really be a score. Done. Give ourselves that one. Right click. There we go. What happens if we do put a word in here? Always fun to test stuff. Points equals hello. Wonder what it'll do. I think I'll clear my points. Scoreboard, players, reset, all players, points. Okay, what happens if we try and use one of these? I got 5 points. Now what I'm going to guess there is it is converting the length of the word into a number. So if we say 1, I'd imagine it's going to add 3 points. And I've got 8. Yep, there we go. If that's useful to you, you can do that as well. If you do put a word in there, it's going to treat it as the length of the string. Okay, there we go. We've made ourselves, it's only a carrot on a stick, and you can give them to people as rewards maybe, and they can use that to get points. Maybe you've got a shop on your map, and they can use those points to spend stuff. So they can find I think I'd use a little bit of paper, and it maybe be like a shop voucher. You change its name, like a 10-point voucher, 20-point voucher, and then when they go back to the shop, they can use those to buy things. Pretty cool. We've used a carrot on a stick, which if you're using a texture pack, you could then retexture it. Or if you're going to use the new edible items sort of right-click detection, you should be able to use any item in the game, providing it doesn't already have a right-click, I think. I'll put a link down in the description to the Eat Any Item tutorial, just in case that helps you out. So if you do want to do that, though, and you're having problems, give me a shout. Just say, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing the tutorial on how to add points using any item. Anyway, enough of rambling. I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.